James is 25. He loves technology and problem solving. He dreams of working for a large company, but he feels nervous talking to new people. He wants to improve his conversation skills. One day, he is faced with an unexpected challenge. James has been preparing for a job interview for weeks. He has rehearsed his answers, researched the company, and even practiced in front of a mirror. He feels ready for any question they might ask. But what he didn't expect was an informal conversation before the actual interview. When James walked into the company office, he was greeted by the receptionist, a friendly woman in her 30s. "Good morning. You must be James," she said with a warm smile. "Yes, I am. Nice to meet you," James replied politely. "The interview will start in about 15 minutes," she informed him. "But before that, our CEO, Mr. Carter, would like to have a friendly chat with you in the waiting room." James felt his palms sweat. A friendly chat. He had prepared for tough technical questions, not small talk with the CEO. But he knew this was an important opportunity to make a great first impression. "Of course," James said, trying to sound confident. He followed the receptionist into the waiting room, where Mr. Carter was waiting. Mr. Carter was an older man with keen eyes and a gentle smile. He gestured to the chair next to him. "James, welcome. Please have a seat." "Thank you, Mr. Carter. It's nice to be here," James replied, trying to keep his composure. "So, James, tell me about yourself," Mr. Carter said, leaning back in his chair. James had practiced this question many times, but in formal settings. Now, he had to answer naturally. "Oh, I like solving problems," James began. "I like learning about technology. But what interests me most is working with a team to turn ideas into reality." Mr. Carter nodded. "Great. What do you do in your spare time?" James saw an opportunity to make the conversation more interesting. "I like to play chess," he said with a smile. "It helps me think strategically. I believe it's useful in both life and work." "Do you play, Mr. Carter?" The CEO smiled. "I do. Maybe we should play a match someday." James felt himself relax. The conversation flowed naturally. Mr. Carter continued. "I like how you connect chess to strategic thinking. What was one of the biggest challenges you faced when learning chess?" James thought for a moment. "I used to rush into moves. But over time, I learned to be patient, think ahead, and analyze my opponent's strategies. Similar to working on a big project, planning is key." Mr. Carter smiled. "That's a great insight. At our company, we value strategic thinking. I think you'd be a good fit here." James felt a wave of confidence. He realized that this casual conversation, after his interview experience, James realized that small talk was just the beginning. To grow in his career, he needed to build strong relationships with people in his industry. That's why he decided to attend a tech networking event. Networking is important because It helps you meet new people who can offer job opportunities or advice. You can learn about the latest trends in your field. It allows you to practice your communication skills in a professional setting. At the tech event, James felt nervous. The room was full of professionals talking in small groups. He wasn't sure how to start a conversation. But then, he remembered the 3 steps to networking success. James took a deep breath and approached a group of 3 people discussing artificial intelligence. He decided to introduce himself. "Hi, my name is James. I'm a software developer interested in AI. Mind if I join the conversation?" One of them, a woman named Sarah, smiled. "Of course, James. We were just talking about how AI is changing the job market. What's your take on it?" James felt relieved. The group was open to new people, and he had successfully started a conversation. Now that James was part of the conversation, he needed to keep it flowing. He remembered to listen carefully to what others said, ask questions to show interest, share his own thoughts briefly. Sarah continued, "I think AI will automate some jobs, but it will also create new ones. What do you think?" James responded, "That's a great point. I read a study that says AI will create more jobs than it replaces. But I wonder if companies will be ready to train people for those new roles." A man in the group, Mark, nodded. "Yes, companies need to invest in training. Are you working on any AI projects, James?" James was happy that the conversation was natural. "Not yet, but I want to. Do you have any advice on how to start?" Mark smiled. "Absolutely. I recommend taking online courses and joining AI communities. I can share some resources with you." James felt excited. Not only was he having an engaging conversation, but he was also learning valuable information. After talking for about 10 minutes, James felt it was time to move on and meet more people. "This was a great conversation. I really appreciate your insights, Mark. Would you be open to connecting on LinkedIn?" Mark replied, "Of course. I'd be happy to stay in touch." James smiled. "Great. And Sarah, it was really nice meeting you too. Hope to see you at another event soon." Sarah responded, "Likewise, James. Best of luck with your AI journey." James walked away feeling confident. He had made new connections and learned new things. James had just finished a job interview at a technology company. He had prepared for weeks, practicing common interview questions and improving his technical skills. Now, he was feeling a mix of emotions: relief, excitement, and a little nervousness. Did I do well? Did they like my answers? Will I get the job? These questions ran through his mind. To relax, James decided to visit his favorite cafe. It was a cozy place with warm lights, soft music, and the smell of fresh coffee. He often came here to work on his coding projects, read books, or just enjoy a peaceful moment. He ordered a cappuccino and found a quiet table near the window. He took out his laptop and opened his latest project. James was always looking for ways to improve his skills. Today, he planned to review his interview answers and practice some new coding techniques. As he was typing, he noticed a man sitting nearby. The man had a laptop, a sketchbook, and a tablet. He looked focused, occasionally making quick sketches on his tablet. Maybe he is an artist or a designer, James thought. James had been working on his English speaking skills. He knew that starting a conversation could be a great way to practice. He took a deep breath, smiled, and said, "Hey, I see you're working hard. Are you a programmer too?" The man looked up and smiled back. "Not exactly. I'm a graphic designer. I create digital art and animations. What about you?" James felt more relaxed. "I'm a software developer. I just finished a job interview today." "Oh, really? How did it go?" the man asked. "I think it went well, but I'm still nervous," James admitted. "I understand. Job interviews can be stressful. But don't worry, if you prepared well, I'm sure you did great." James was happy to have started a conversation. He wanted to keep it going. "By the way, your job sounds interesting. I've always wanted to learn about digital art." The man's eyes lit up. "That's cool. And I wish I knew more about coding. Maybe we can help each other." James smiled. "That's a great idea. I can show you some coding basics. And you can teach me about design." They continued talking for a while. The cafe was a nice place to work and meet people. After some time, the man said, "Hey, I need to go soon. But I'd love to continue this conversation. Do you want to exchange contacts?" James nodded. "Yeah, that sounds great." They exchanged phone numbers and planned to meet again. James felt happy. Not only had he practiced English, but he had also made a new friend. As he sipped his coffee, he thought, speaking English is not just about words. It's about connecting with people. James left the cafe feeling more confident. His conversation had gone well, and he realized how important it was to practice English in real situations. A few days later, James received a message from his new friend, the designer. They planned to meet again at the cafe, but this time, they would bring their work and share their knowledge. James decided to prepare a simple coding lesson. He thought, if I can teach someone in English, my communication skills will improve even more. James learned an important lesson. English is best learned through real conversations. By speaking with new people, he felt more confident. He also realized that making friends could be easy if you take the first step. Next time, James will practice handling difficult conversations in English. Stay tuned.